Growth is the lifeblood of our Delaware Valley. It's a surging, throbbing force that comes from you, the people. Here is what growth looks like. It has many faces, new factories, new homes, new schools, better roads, dark, rich farmland, many forms of transportation. Some other faces of growth are like these: storage buildings, large industrial plants, busy workers going home from work, crowded city streets, banks to protect and save your money, vital utilities to give us comfort and fill our needs, a free government of, by, and for the people, being able to worship where you choose to. Here is growth spread out before you in a panorama of beauty and strength. This is your Delaware Valley. And yet, with all this progress and steady growth, our social problems have also grown. That's why this group of people, representing labor and management, are hard at work on the DVUF campaign. Who are these people? Let's take a good, close look at them. This is Ferdinand W. Roebling III, DVUF President. Richard J. Hughes, Campaign Chairman. Herbert P. Spring, Industrial Division Chairman. Herbert E. Stites, Commercial Division Chairman. Surrogate John E. Curry, Public Division Chairman. Frank A. Schuhart, Special Groups Chairman. William S. Borden, Jr., Metropolitan Division Chairman. Walter Shelmut, AFL Representative. Anthony S. Zuccarella, CIO Representative. James A. Waldron, Vice President of Member Services. Herbert D. Rathbun, Vice President of Admissions and Budgets. Mrs. John W. Tramberg, DVUF Secretary. And Freddie Walker, Vice President of Public Relations. Everyone can do his or her part by giving once where you work, giving your fair share. This year, more than ever before, we are counting on your help. While these DVUF leaders continue to plan their work for the 1959 DVUF campaign, we have a movie of importance to all of us in the Delaware Valley.
I'm Walter Cronkite. This is the torch, the emblem that represents all the health, welfare, and character-building services that make up the United Fund in this community. This might be called the conscience of this great industrial center where you live and work. So this torch is your conscience. How brightly it burns, how far its rays extend into the darkness of human want, is up to you. Now it is on trial, and you have been selected to make it succeed. The fact to remember is there will be no other drives in your office, plant, or shop for 1 year. Thus, no second chances. If this one campaign should fail, if the torch is allowed to flicker, the penalties will be heavy. Not perhaps for you, but for others. Those who look for help simply to walk, who seek relief from endless pain, those who cry out for love and protection, those who need guidance in place of neglect, those who want only to play like other children, or who are alone in a world of darkness. These are only a few who will pay the penalties if this one great campaign should fail. It is for you to prevent that. This is your responsibility. As a worker in your firm's United Fund, the success of the campaign depends on you.
Wait a minute. It depends on some others, too. The people I call on. They got to give, don't they?
And they will, if you do your job. But you're the key man.
Now, that's the thing that's got me worried. Like you say, it's an awful big responsibility. Oh, look, I'm for this United Fund plan. I volunteered for it, and I'll give it all I got. But the thing is, I'm brand new at this. Now, maybe I'm like a lot of other new solicitors. We don't know if we can handle the job. I mean, well, people listen to us when we go to give them the story. Now, suppose they're busy.
Oh, come on, Pat. Let's make it a date, huh? It's a swell show.
I said no.
Well, look, I've got the tickets and everything, and you said you weren't busy tonight.
What's the matter? Shirley stand you up?
Excuse me, Harv. Shirley. Never heard of such a... What's the matter? You crazy or something? What do you mean, Shirley? Well, she's just nothing. She's really nothing.
Thanks.
I heard you were going steady.
Look, I wanted to talk to you
Shirley
about...
and I are just good friends, that's all. They've got the weirdest rumors going around here.
Look, United Fund campaign. I wanted to talk...
Well,
One campaign for...
How about 7 tonight, huh?
Look, Harv,
What do you want?
I've got your United Fund pledge card.
Look, Stan, Pat and I are talking about something very important some other time, huh?
I just wanted to give you your card.
All
see?
right, so you gave it to me. How about it, Pat?
okay. Make it 7:30. I gotta get to work.
That's a deal.
You see what I mean? I imagine there's a lot of times when people won't even listen to us.
Right, there are times like that. That's why you must arrange to meet people when they have time to listen and aren't too preoccupied. At the right place and time, no decent person will refuse to listen to the facts about something as important as the United Fund.
Well, I suppose not. But look, I got all these cards. Now, isn't it going to take an awful long time to tell all these people the whole story? Maybe if I got them together all at once.
Each contributor deserves an individual call. As for the time you'll need to spend with each, remember this. A few minutes explanation of what fair share giving amounts to is all it usually takes. Most people are already sold. The United Fund plan, a single campaign for all, is something contributors themselves have been demanding. It's a plan they want and know about.
Yeah? I guess they're pretty sold on the idea. Till it comes right down to turning loose of some money. Aren't we going to run into some pretty fancy excuses then? Now, you know how some guys can wiggle out of things.
Boy, she's out in the parking lot right now. Wait till you see her. One of those 3-color jobs. You know, hard top with the spare tire sticking right up in front of everybody. Boy, what class.
Another new car, huh, Norton?
Well, this isn't a new car. Boy, this is a dreamboat. This is a real way of life.
Sounds great. Did you get a good deal?
A steal. Absolute robbery. Salesman used to go to school with my sister. Boy, wait till the boss finds out what kind of a deal he made for me. Wow.
Say, Norm, what I wanted to talk to you about was this year's...
Power steering, power brakes, power windows, power everything.
Power payments, too?
Nah, they're not so bad. You can't take it with you, you know.
You know, I'm glad you feel that way about it, Norm, because what I wanted to talk to you about was your United Fund contribution. You probably know about the fair share plan. That's an hour's pay a month for 12 months.
Are you nuts? I just haven't got that kind of money. I told you about the terrible beating I took on that car they sold me.
I thought you said it was a dreamboat.
Dreamboat. It was more like a nightmare. Why, I just took it off this fella's hands because he used to go to school with my sister. Needs a ring job and the tires. Well, you ought to see the tires. They're terrible. Well, just the upkeep alone will keep me broke, let alone the payments. See me maybe a month after I've had a chance to get well a little bit. Right now, I'm flat.
Well, Norm, this United Fund drive comes around only once a year.
Oh, I just haven't got any money to give you.
It's not easy to get money out of people these days, even for something they believe in, is it?
No, and that's another point in favor of the United Fund plan. You're not asking anyone for money now, simply for their fair share pledge. 1 hour's pay per month. It's money that will never be missed because it's deducted from paychecks through the year. Just as most of us are able to own cars because of installment buying, so we can take care of our obligations to the sick, the aged, the afflicted, and the needy among us through easy installments. In dollars and cents, the cost of a few gallons of gasoline each month.
Yeah, I guess that's right. You know, that installment idea ought to appeal to most people. But don't you sometimes run into people who want to give you cash? Now, what do you do if...
And then you just sign this pledge card right here, Charlie. You'll never miss it, and you'll be helping a lot of people. So far, the plan has contributed 100%.
Pete boy,
and
I've been looking for you. Where you been?
Hi, Mark.
I didn't want to leave tonight until I saw you.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling my wife this morning, this United Funds campaign is the greatest.
That's right.
And it's guys like you that are carrying a ball. You got your old shoulder to the wheel, kid.
Well,
hey, you know, before we started this United Funds, we used to have different drives around here every month. Now we just have one drive a year. It's a wonderful thing.
yeah, but I already told
You know something? I've been preaching for years that they ought to have just one campaign. It cuts down on the overhead. All the different agencies and causes all wrapped up into one.
That's right, but
I bet you everybody in the plant will be in this thing 100%, 1,000%. You see, the company's behind it, the union's behind it, everybody. And I tell you, anybody doesn't support the United Funds campaign is a crumb, a real crumb. And kid, here's mine, $5, cash, on the line.
So what are you going to do, turn down $5?
The success of the campaign depends on people signing their pledge cards, not on token cash gifts to get their conscience off the hook. A pledge card means a fair share contribution. The citizens of this community have asked for a single campaign with payroll deductions. Now that they have it, they must realize how important it is that they give adequately if they're to keep the plan they want.
Well, yeah. But that's tough sometimes, isn't it? Now, suppose you run into some suspicious kind of characters. Now, doesn't that happen?
But it's natural that before people contribute, they want assurance the money's going where it should go. So they should be told that the total cost of the United Fund campaign is actually less than 5%. If we should have to go back to the old method of many separate drives, the combined cost would be many times greater. That's another big reason for making the single campaign plan work.
Yeah, everybody ought to be told that. Only, what if we don't get a chance? What if I run into somebody who just says, no?
Well, at least that's shortened to the point. But the chances are 100 to 1 against a flat no. Almost always you'll get a reason for not giving, a reason you can answer. But if you should get a blunt no, try this.
George, you're the only one I've called on that said no. The only one. Now, why don't you give it some more thought, and I'll come back.
And when you return, he'll probably have worked out an excuse that you can handle.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's just one thing that still bothers me. How's my boss going to take all this? I mean, my being off from work to get pledges and all. Is he going to sit still for it?
Well, let him tell you.
No time worker needs to worry about the company time he puts in on this campaign. All labor organizations and all employers in this community agree that the United Funds plan has to succeed. For one thing, it's the best and fairest way to support our humanitarian services. For another, I don't think anyone wants to go back to the old system of many separate drives, wasting so much time and money. The United Fund plan will succeed if everyone clearly understands it. That's why we want our solicitors to talk personally to everyone who works here. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. You know, maybe I've been worrying too much about this job, looking for trouble. Well, I'll do my best, that's for sure. After all, I'm just one guy. Even if I don't score 100%, it won't make too much difference in the whole campaign.
Are you sure? What happens if one person falls down on his job in your company, in an office, on an assembly line?
Why, everybody else has to work harder, so... Oh. I see what you mean. Puts it right on me, doesn't it? Makes a guy feel important, all right. But kind of lonesome, too. Like you're all on your own.
Important? Right, you are important, but not alone. There are thousands of others working with you, backing you up. Your fellow workers in this campaign, the great army of United Fund volunteers seeking contributions, those who supply the help you need, the information, the publicity materials, whatever it takes to get your message across. And there are others behind you, too, silent but always present, unseen, except perhaps when the torch flames high. Children who can walk only in its light. The blind who grope toward it through the darkness. The homeless. Victims of fire, flood, disaster, who find assistance by its rays. The pain-racked. The elderly. The hopeless sufferers who can find comfort only in the warmth of its flame. The unwanted little ones who need a beacon to guide them on the path of decency. Yes, there are many others behind you, working or waiting. But you are the leader. You are the spearhead. You have support, but only you can do your job. Whatever the difficulties, you are the one who must keep the torch burning. Will you?